Here we are for the next tutorials. We made it to 5 today, so stay tuned to the end. You're going to love the project. So leopard print design is super easy, and there's different ways you can do leopard print. I'm just going to show you how I do it and what works for me. And of course, as you keep practicing, it's going to get perfect, and you'll be able to do, you know, different designs, different sizes, different widths of leopard print. So I'm going to use that same teal color that we used before. I'm also going to use like a cream color because I want the cream to kind of be the center of our leopard print. Again, if you're just new to my channel, I get my paints and all of my supplies from Michael's craft store because I love their coupon, and I just like their selection overall. Not only that, Hobby Lobby I think is okay for some things. Our AC Moore went out of business, so we don't have access to an AC Moore anymore. Now, I have different shades of brown, and I'm going to show you which shades I have. And the reason why I'm mixing up different shades of brown is because I haven't decided exactly which leopard print I'm going to do or what color leopard print I'm going to do. And I want to have options, right? I'm going to show you the paints I'm using. Now, in case you were wondering, red, and I'm sure you weren't, but red is like my least favorite color in the whole world, right? Which is crazy because I'm in a sorority and their colors are crimson and cream, but I do not like red at all, right? But I was thinking about doing a red leopard print down on this page. So these are the colors that I'm using to make the leopard print. So the blue is actually called teal. This is a light buttermilk, and these are Americana paints. I'm also using several shades of brown. This is Craft Smart, but notice, you didn't notice it maybe, but it gets clumpy, and that's what I don't like about it. This is Americana Deco Art, and those colors are Espresso and Terracotta. And then I also used Americana and Craft Smart in Golden Brown and Desert Sand. Again, I'm not sure which colors I'm going to mix. I love this black. This is Anita's black. It gives great coverage. It is excellent. I like it a lot. So how I go about doing a leopard print is I'll put down, depending on how I want to start, sometimes I'll put the darker color base down first, and then I'll follow it with the white base. So this was an actual pair of earrings that I had done leopard print before. So you can decide kind of as you go. I make up stuff as I go along. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the black, okay? So I use the end of a brush. So the tools that you're going to need are, of course, some pre-painted wooden pieces, the end of any brush or a tool that you want to use. I don't use the paintbrush end to do the design because I feel like I have more control by using the spooled end of the brush. And I'm also going to use that same dot tool that we used before to make the white part or the inner portion of the leopard print. So what I'm going to do is try to work on them at the same time so we kind of get the same design. So I'm going to dip the paint in the black, and then I'm just going to make like a comma with the paint, or like a smiley face if you want to do it that way. You can do whatever size you want. You know, the thing about making jewelry is it can be as random or as precise as you want. And so what I'm doing is making the black base to the leopard print. And I'm making them different sizes. Just think in terms of Fred Flintstone's outfit, which I think was tiger print, but nevertheless, you get the gist of what I'm saying. So I'm doing the little black spots, and then I'm going to clean my brush off in a second. So you could do this with a paintbrush, but I just prefer not to. I just feel like I have more control over the paint, and like I can kind of draw it on with the end of a brush and treat it like a pencil. And they don't have to be completely even, but you want to make them as similar as possible, because that's the thing about one-of-a-kind jewelry, you know, is you can make it whatever you want. So I like that. I think I'm going to make the black spots because the paint's already starting to dry, but I love the Anita's black. I like all these paints, but Anita's is my favorite, and then the Americana paint. I'll also show you the brand that the red paint is, because it probably is the best paint I've ever used. Although I don't like red as a color, I love that brand. I'll show that to you in a second. So we're working through our 5 designs. We're on design number 3. Of course, you can skip past this if you want to. I'm just showing you what I do to make leopard print, and you can kind of make it any way you want, okay? So now, I need one more right there, don't I? Oh, 2 more. Okay, and then one more up here. And I don't ever really plan out what my colors are gonna be. I know some people do, but when I get ready to start designing, I just kind of start. I don't tend to overthink things in art or in life. I just go with it. So there we go. Let me find, I didn't bring any water to the table. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna use a paint napkin I had. We're gonna wipe that off, and now I wanna let it dry for just a little bit, but because it's already kind of starting to dry, I have to decide, okay, what's the next shade that I wanna use? And I'm thinking that I wanna do like a darker brown, because I know we're also gonna do a cream color. So let's use the chocolate brown color. The only thing is it had a little bit of loppy galoppies in it, meaning when I poured it out, I think I'm gonna do different shades of brown. So you can just dot at this point. This is what I'm doing. So I made the smiley face, and now I'm dotting the brown shade of paint that I want for the leopard print. Notice that it's already kind of starting to look leopard printish. Doesn't matter if it overlaps on the black or not. You just want to look at the leopard print. What I recommend too is, if you've never done it before, if you've never done a leopard print design, look up some leopard print ideas, or not ideas, but leopard print prints online. See, look, it's already starting to look like leopard print. We're going to add the lighter colors in a second. And you can even make different shades of leopard print on the same earring. So I'm just adding chocolate dots, because I felt like this would be a really pretty contrast to the turquoise or the teal. Oops, wrong paint. Even though I am gonna blend, I didn't want to do it right then. Paint's trying to rush me. Okay, so a few more dots of chocolate. I'm gonna need to add one more little spot of black to that, because they want it to cut up. So let's let that dry, and we'll leave that one alone. We'll come back and make it black, okay? So now let's go ahead on to our lighter colors. Notice that it's really, to me, important to start with your darker color first and then move on to your lighter colors. So I think what I wanna do is I wanna add a lighter shade of a brown to go with this. And I think that I was thinking about this terracotta color, but I think that I'm gonna go with more of like a natural brown color that's similar to this. But let me see how that looks, because I don't want them to be, you know, close to the same shade. Ooh, no, I like that. Okay. I'll lift it up so you can see it. Really pretty. It's like a sand color. And then we're gonna finish it off with a cream colored dot in the center, okay? So again, I'm just dotting the paint on, no rhyme or reason. I'm not wiping the brush off in between the dots, because it doesn't matter. It's better for it to blend or look like it wasn't placed there. So, looking really great. Just adding dots. And now I don't even need to go back and fix where the chocolate color had smeared a little bit. Look at that. So that's really pretty. So now what we want to do is we want to add our cream color dot to make it stand out. So I'm not going to use the dotting tool for that. I'm still going to use the end of the paintbrush, because I feel like if I use the dotting tool, it could cause, what's the word I'm looking for? It could make it splatter a little bit. So I'm going to use this color right here, the buttermilk color, so that it makes our leopard print pop. Now you can stop just at the brown if you like it like that, or you can mix up any colors you know you really want to mix up, but this was kind of the shade I had in mind when I decided to do a leopard print tutorial for you all for tonight. So these were the colors I had in mind to use. I also had poured some teal and was going to incorporate some teal in here, but I don't want to do that. I feel like it'd be too much. I feel like it'd be too busy. So what I'm going to do after I finish placing the cream colored dots is I'm going to swirl it just a little bit, but not a lot. Like I'm barely going to touch it because I don't want to mess up the design. I feel like sometimes we can get things good enough and then we want to go messing with them. So I'm not going to mess with it. Oh, I just realized I forgot to put a brown dot right there, but I bet one of y'all noticed it. Were you going to tell me I forgot my brown dot or what? Prayerfully, you are enjoying this tutorial. I love doing these for you all. I know we have 2 more designs to get done. I'm clueless as to what that's going to be, but nevertheless, the show must go on. So I forgot a brown dot a second ago, so I'm going to go back and add that there. So you hold it up so you can look at it. So there's your leopard print, and I think what I want to do is I want to pull it out just a little bit. So I'm going to take the pokey tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it, not too much. I'm just pulling the line through it. I'm just basically messing around with it to get it like I want it. Okay, and I'm going to leave it alone because I feel like it's well enough alone. Just like that. Super cute. So that is how you make leopard print. You just lay down some smiley faces, put down some dots, and now you have a super cute leopard print design. Now you may do leopard print different from me, but this is my version of leopard print. And I think it came out really cute. So those have to dry. I'm still trying to decide if I want to add something to them where those holes are. Notice that these hearts came with some little holes in them. So sometimes I'll put a cabochon there or like a pearl, or if not, they can hang that way, but I don't know if I want them to or not. So we're gonna let those dry and we're going on to the next project. I forgot to show you, this is the type of, oh, it's Deco Art Americana, but it's a satin multi-surface red paint that I love, love, love. It comes out with like a beautiful candy apple red. It's called Lipstick. And then these are the Dremel tools that I was telling you about that go with the Dremel drill. And so I'm gonna put the sizes there down here in the description box. I'm gonna hold this up in case you want to take a screenshot. Might not give you a good picture, I'm not sure. This camera and this phone have a mind of its own. Yeah, it's not cooperating. So I will put the bit sizes down in the description box. So let's figure out what we're gonna do next. I think we're gonna do a galaxy design. So let me get that set up and I'll be right back. Okay, so this was a pair of earrings that I had. And remember I said I'm gonna show you how to do the galaxy design, which means that I'm probably gonna be, this video is gonna be in 2 parts because I just don't want it to be so long where you're like, ugh, I don't even wanna watch it, right? So this is the design that we're gonna make, and I actually was using this pair of earrings to show how to do the tape stripes the other day. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint this earring black because we need a black base for the galaxy design, okay? And what I love about doing this particular design for the galaxy is that you get to mix paints. You can wet your paintbrush just to get the swirled effect of like the Aurora Borealis or the Milky Way, you know, whatever you want to do. So I'm starting with a black base, and what I'm doing is just painting over the earring that I already had. I didn't like that blue color anyway, really. And so when I was thinking about it, I said, well, I've been promising to do the cosmic earring, so let's do the cosmic earring today. So now what we're gonna do is, now that we have our black base, is the next thing we wanna do is we wanna do like a pink swirl, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me just get the black off my hair. So notice that down here at the bottom, let's do that first. Down here at the bottom kind of looks like the earth, like you're looking from outer space down onto the earth. And so what we want to do is I'm going to do one more coat of the black paint, let that dry, and then I'm going to show you how I did this black and white ombre technique down here. It's so super easy. So let's do another coat of the black paint, and we're going to let that dry. And the cool part about doing this design as well is you don't have to let everything dry before you go on to the next step, because you kind of want it to bleed together. Just adding a little bit more black paint. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix up a shade of blue that I already have picked out, and I'll show you my palette in a second. So I have all of these colors here. So the royal blue, a really pretty, like a peacock blue, pink, purple, another shade of pink. We're gonna use that cream color over there. And only thing I don't have in here yet is the yellow that we'll splosh on at the end, but we have everything that we need. These are the colors that I used. So I'm using an ultramarine blue and a carousel pink, really, really pretty. I'm using turquoise blue and purple. I'm using turquoise blue and purple pizzazz. In case the camera went out for a second, I'm using ultramarine blue and carousel pink. And then I'm also using, of course, the Anita's black. It's called Black Magic. And then, was it called Black Magic or just black? No, it's just called black. And then I had thought about using that one, but I'm not. But just in case I do, this one is called Rose. And no, I'm sorry, Pink Blast. And this one's called Light Orchid. So let's let this set dry for just a minute, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna add our blue to create the earth down here at the bottom. Okay, now before, so I was using this a flat brush. My sizes aren't on my brushes anymore because I've had them so long. But I just used a flat back brush. You can use any size brush really that you want to put your base color on your paint. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a fluffier brush, because we're gonna be doing like a paint mix design with our blues. And so, and with the cream color. So what I'm doing is I'm wetting the brush. There's some water over off to the side because I want the paint to have some slip. So I'm just gonna, so I wet it just a little bit. You notice you can see the water in there a little bit. I'm just gonna dot it off on the napkin and put this brush up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip it in the blue. See how you can tell it's runny because of the water down there? I'm gonna dip it in the white. I'm gonna dip it in the light blue. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna smoosh it across that way, okay? Now not too much because the colors are starting to run together. So just gonna smoosh it across that way. I'm picking up a little bit more paint. So I wanna have a mix. Now you're gonna have to let this part dry, and the reason why you wanna let it dry is because if you don't, it's all gonna run together. But we're not gonna let it dry completely. We're just gonna let it dry just enough where we can kind of wet the tip of our brush. See, it looks like the earth. And see, we're doing a oblong pear instead of a round pear. I think I wanna go up just a little higher. And your cosmic or celestial design can look any way that you want. These are just the colors I'm using. But you know, the sky is a different color in every part of the country. It looks different in every part of the country. So the next thing we're gonna do, just to save time, is we're gonna go ahead, and we're not gonna add that glitter just yet because that's a finishing touch. We're gonna go ahead and add our pink strip across here. So I'm going to take some of this pink and some of this pink and just a dab of purple. And I want my Aurora Borealis or whatever it is to go across this way. To go across the sky that way, okay? And how we're gonna get it to smush out to look like, or to look ombre like this one, is we're gonna wet it once it's almost dry, and we're gonna work with it that way. So let's do another pickup of paint. We're gonna do a light purple, light pink, and a little touch of purple. And we're just gonna go across the sky, okay? I mean, these are not difficult techniques at all. I mean, we're just really mixing paints. And then you're gonna mix to your liking, right? And so whatever it is you like, that's what you're gonna do. If you like more pink, if you like more lavender, then you can do it with more pink and more lavender. So to me, I just wanna mix it all up. And I do want the lines to be semi-even. So in other words, that one, you'll notice from edge to edge is touching, so I'm gonna carry mine off to the edge that way. And I'm gonna carry it off to the edge that way. So that way they're both have an edge. I'm gonna carry it off to the edge that way. And that way. This one's a little bit wider than that one, so I'm just gonna even them up a little bit. Okay, so now we have to let it dry just a smidge wedge so we can swirl it around and get it, you know, like we want it. And so let's let these dry. I'll be right back. Okay, cool. So we let it dry a little bit, and now what we want to do is I'm going to show you, we're going to wet our brush. Move that out of the way. I want to pull the water over so you can see it. So we're gonna wet our brush, and then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna slide the wet brush across the paint while it's wet. And then we're gonna let it dry. So basically what we're doing is we're getting rid of the lines, okay? And now it looks more like an atmosphere. And I do want I think I want like some lighter blue in there. So I'm gonna wet my brush, and I'm mixing some of that teal and some of the lighter blue and the white around in there. And then you'll see how it dries, and it'll dry kind of with its own look. So I'm gonna let some of the water run off. It's gonna be really pretty when it dries. And then we wanna do the same thing with the pink, okay? Now I don't want the brush soaking wet, but I do wanna run it across there. And all we're doing is we're basically eliminating the lines. Like, see how some of it will wash off, which is fine because we're gonna do glitter over there. So if I take off too much, I can just come back and put a little bit more on there. And I can wet it, because basically what we wanna do is we wanna knock down those lines. And I'm just doing a dotting technique, and then we're gonna let it run off to the side. Now what I wanna do is go back over it just a little bit. And I wanna get the excess paint off that's from the water, because I don't want it to keep running off the design, okay? So it's gonna start to look celestial as soon as we put our white dots and everything else on there. So let's do the other one as well. Now what I can do while it's still wet down here is I can go in and add just some of that blue back to it by dotting it up a little bit. But I want to let that dry now. I want to leave it alone, okay? So what you're doing when you're making your celestial look is you're knocking down the lines, okay? So that's how I was able to get that faded out look that you see in here. We just knock down the lines and we keep layering it until we get it like we want it. There's no perfect way. Again, I share with you that the sky is different in every country across the world, right? God makes different sunsets for every place. So what I did was I went on and added just some whites because I just wanted to brighten it up a little bit. So all I did was dot some white along what I feel like will be the Earth's atmosphere and like the oceans that you can see from outer space. And then I also wanted to add like some white along the edges of the pink